This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler and Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
All right, great. Well, my name is Anthony Femulero, and my company is Homeschool Match. I'm trying to get parents to do what they do best, which is teach. Homeschool parents have a lot of the same issues we all do, right? Life is short. You want to do what matters. And a lot of us, most of us, if you're here, you're using technology to do that in some way. You have calendars, you're using Facebook to get in touch with people, you're doing a lot of different things online. But unfortunately, the homeschool community lacks a lot of the technology that we take for granted every day. So they don't get to have as much meaningful time doing what they do that you take for granted. Meet Anna. This is happy Anna. She's 30 years old, middle income, mom of Tommy, and she homeschools, and she's happy right now because she's having her personal time. Within the next hour before Tommy wakes up, she's got to figure out who is Tommy going to hang out with at around 12 o'clock when she's done teaching from her curriculum. How will she socialize him? How will she what learning group will she find? As well as what businesses are in the area that are going to be able to have activities that are going to supplement her curriculum. And you know what? She may not understand Tommy's level of math, and she may need a tutor. But how does she find that? Meet frustrated Anna. She's spending 5 to 10 hours a week just trying to find the right social group and learning group for Tommy with other kids, the right tutors to help supplement the education, and the right businesses that are going to supplement the exact lessons that they just learned this week or their topic of the week. And obviously, it's not going very well. The problem, of course, is fragmentation. Really, the only two options that they have here is to go online. If you're new to Charlotte, you go online and you look up homeschool groups in Charlotte. There's thousands. Most of them are closed. You have to know somebody to get in. It's a nightmare for people to find other homeschool parents to help enrich their kids' education. Or you can go to some of the main websites that have a lot of great resources, but if you look along the side here, this is their menu. She could spend an hour just going through here trying to figure out what she needs to do for the day. I think you get the point. All of it, of course, relates to mismatched groups, unfocused activities, and clashing tutors equals one frustrated Tommy. She wants to do what matters. She said, what if Anna had more time? What if she had a credible resource online? And what if everything was in one place, all while she's learning together with her son? The solution is Homeschool Match. The market is niche and growing. Quickly said, the demographic, there's 2.2 million homeschool families in the US today, each spending an average of $600 a year on their education. And mind you, this is beyond the taxes that they have to pay that are paying for everyone else's kids' education. And the demographic growth in the last few years has been 68%. So it is a niche but growing area. Homeschool Match is going to serve to be Anna's personal assistant online. It's going to match Tommy to the most beneficial learning and co-op and social groups. It wants to match the local businesses to the activities that are going to supplement the education she's giving him at home. It's going to match local tutors and teachers based on the profile that she puts in of Tommy and matching the profile of the businesses. And it's going to also offer one-click compliance reporting, which is something most states need anyway from these parents. The revenue streams are going to be, it's a freemium, so Anna can fill in Tommy's profile and her own profile for free. We need a critical mass to start out. But to get your quarterly compliance reporting, that'll be an extra charge. And to match local businesses, that will be an extra charge as well. Targeted ads like all the museums down at the Museum of Arts, and paid educational apps that my next door neighbor actually builds educational apps. I thought I'd throw them in there and get a little action here. So the way I'm going to fund this is basically there's 2.2 million universe of homeschool parents in the US. If only 10% of those people are monthly users, that's 220,000. If half of those people actually pay the reporting and the business matching, I'm going to make $11 million a year. Which of course means Anna gets more meaningful time with her kid, not searching so many hours on the internet. We want her to do what's best for her. I want her to teach. That's it, I'm done. General awareness. I just want people to know it's there. I know there's not a lot of homeschooling parents probably here in the audience, but general awareness and any feedback on the pitch, on the product, the idea, anything.
Who's a parent? You guys are parents, right?
Yeah.
Y'all start.
A couple things. So I thought it was an interesting pitch. So there's some things that I really like about it and some things that can concern me about just the market in general.
Okay.
The idea sounds interesting. It probably is a very underserved market.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not a very large market, but it sounds like it's growing and maybe large enough for a boutique kind of play like this. So I find that to be, there's definitely something there. I have the experience of having my peer group, some of them homeschooled, parents, providing feedback on some of the struggles associated with that. So I believe it's a real problem, probably.
Great.
So that makes sense to me. I have this kind of rule that is my own and completely unsubstantiated, so take it for what it's worth.
Okay.
Generally speaking, entrepreneurs and their plans are by orders of magnitude about off by 10x. So I think from a financial standpoint, my theory is that you got to be able to make a business on 1% of the market. 10% of the market is massive.
Okay.
And the amount of expense associated with customer acquisition, especially at the individual consumer home level on that, in a market that's, I think it's opportunistic, but it's also going to be very fragmented, difficult to reach and expensive to communicate to. So I think that you should get comfortable with the potential finances of the business at maybe a lower, percentage of the market in terms of what's
I appreciate the feedback. So I probably didn't make it entirely clear, but 10% was basically just a utilization. If 10% of people hit the site every month, that costs them nothing, right? But of that half of that, so it would be 110,000 people would get me this 11 mil, so it's really 5% of the market would actually get me that revenue,
that's better.
which might
I'd
still be
like to see
high,
it at one,
which in your mind is still high, and that's great to know. But it wasn't the full. I'm not expecting the full 10% to actually pay me every month. So.
But I think Steve is right.
Yeah.
The 10, like you said, so it's a fragmented market.
It's a fragmented market.
It's fragmented, which also means the customer acquisition is going to be a little bit more challenging.
Possibly, but yeah.
Possibly, again, you have to see. But so 10%, and then also you're converting 50% into a paid model. Is that how 50% are you're generating revenue off of them?
Right.
Okay, that's also that also can be challenging. That's high.
Sure.
So I think that what you're hearing from us is that. Yeah, that may be some order of magnitudes off. Just think through how your business may change if it is 10% of that. What decisions would you make differently?
Yeah. That's a great idea.
This is an interesting market, right? So, and it is growing, and so I think there could be something real here. But I think also it's the kind of market that, in order to capitalize it effectively on the scale that you'd like to, you'll need some proof.
Right.
But I think there also, there could be a viral component to this too, right? Because this probably, once you get into a really tight-knit community, the sphere of influence is also relatively tight-knit, and those, there's a lot of that goes on kind of, between the folks. So I think it would have the potential to maybe start slow, but there could be some exponential growth kind of on the back side of it. But it's something that I think you would have to capitalize very carefully.
Yeah.
But the ed tech space also, to say apps is kind of interesting. I think more specificity around that. I actually think the biggest thing in terms of the potential finances has got to be the compliance reporting, right? I don't know what you can, if that's a real requirement. I'm not familiar, but if that's a state requirement in all states, whatever, being able to do that quickly and easily has got to take a huge amount of concern off of the parent.
That's right.
My only other comment, and I'll let everyone else go, is just I like your style of pitch because you're seeking some sort of an emotional appeal in the beginning. I don't know if it's possible or not, but my question would be, I'm less emotional about the parents' problems. I'm more emotional about the child's problems. I wonder if that same pitch were given through the lens of Tommy rather than the parent and what his struggles are, if you wouldn't make maybe a tighter connection more quickly with audience. That's all.
Good feedback. Thanks.
How are you going to aggregate the information that you're making available to everybody? All the teachers, how are you going about to get all that to share?
Yeah, well, right. I need to come up with a critical mass, right?
Yeah.
So to your point, it is a niche market right now, so it is small and it's going to be fragmented, and that's across the country, right? So one idea I had was to just start it locally here in Charlotte, maybe limit it just to the Charlotte area, because this is the second largest growing market for homeschool parents after Texas.
That's right.
So, and I do have actually a lot of connections in Texas as well. So even if I started with just those two, It is a very tight-knit community, so even though their online world is very fragmented, they all know the other homeschool parents, and if you hit just a few bloggers in every city, you're going to be able to get to the homeschool community pretty quickly. And once the homeschool community gathers pretty quickly, the businesses, I mean, if you think about it, while our kids are at school, they have gaps. I went to music and arts just the other day to get my daughter a music book, and I was the only one in the whole store the whole half hour I was there. But if they could if they could advertise as, hey, I've got a slot from 1 to 4 where I've got nothing going on, I need to make sure I hit these homeschool parents. And the homeschool parents say, well, good, because I'm actually teaching them music theory this week. You know, that would be a great connection. So I think to build up the homeschool audience would bring the businesses in. And I wouldn't charge the businesses for giving me their profiles. It would be free for them to come in and just give me their critical mass as well.
Lead gen.
Yeah, and my background is database marketing, so I get the whole database matching algorithmic thing. So.
Yeah, that was my question. You know, what was your background?
Yeah.
How did you get into this? Why is this problem interesting to you?
This problem is interesting to me for the pure entrepreneurial. Like, I saw a need. I know enough people who are having this issue, and I saw a need. I looked online, and I promise you, this matching algorithmic thing is not happening. Facebook would be my competition, and I don't know if that's good or bad, right? Yeah. So, and then there is somebody who's doing.
For them to care
they don't care. Yeah, they're not going to care about this. And then I'm not taking them away from Facebook. I'm not offering them a chat room yet or anything like that, a place to gather. I'm just saying match each other up. But also, I lost my train of thought, sorry.
I think the other piece I would say is, okay, so there's revenue streams.
Yes.
A little bit of where you're going to start. So starting in Charlotte and starting a community in Texas, I think makes sense. You know,
Okay.
prove out the model, you know, figure out what works before scaling, you know, just really understand that.
Right.
Figure out like what's really important to that group, get that feedback, then start layering on the things as make sense versus trying to do everything at once or waiting
Agreed.
to launch something until you have everything. I think
Agreed.
with this community, if you just, you know, if you have them help you, and you're working to solve a problem for them, then that in itself will be a growth path.
And
it's
that's
manageable.
And that's exactly how I've so far marketed it. So I've done some surveys with just the 40 or so people that I know here in Texas, and I've called them CEOs. I basically said, you know, you are now going to be put on your CEO hat, help me design it. I'm about to get in a designing phase. This is for you. Let's get this done. And I'm going to get some kind of a Kickstarter thing going where I can offer them the full year for free to start out.
Yeah.
Good feedback, though.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll ask to the audience. Right over here.
Wow, look, this is the most hands I've seen about homeschooling, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
I am a homeschool parent.
Awesome.
Okay.
So I guess a few comments.
All right,
One,
please.
I agree with the panelists that your revenue projections are very aggressive.
Okay.
The homeschool community, whether it's Charlotte or whether they're employees.
Okay.
If it's free, they're going to be drawn to it. If it costs money, or it quickly spreads, what's the workaround?
Okay.
And the second thing, the comments reporting is very interesting.
Okay.
If I were you, I would bundle it with standardized testing.
Oh,
The real requirement for most
okay.
Great.
is end-of-year testing.
Awesome.
Homeschooling, you have to do end-of-year testing.
That makes sense.
And finding locations and parents that are doing that end-of-year testing is really hard. Like,
Yeah.
you literally have to scour around and find which parent is doing this coordinated testing.
Uh-huh.
And so the service that someone would pay for is a Q stream like that. Or for that,
Excellent.
even offer it.
Excellent.
Does that have to be proctored or anything?
It does. That's part of the, that's kind of the glitch with the whole system.
Yeah.
Is that.
That'd be a great add-on service. I totally agree.
And
Yeah.
that's worth paying for.
Okay.
I can tell you,
Yes,
Proctor free.
Yeah, proctor free.
Coordinate to find the proctors.
Right,
To
right,
figure out
right.
the location.
Yeah, that makes
all that stuff.
So if I were to have one of my matched tutors or teachers be proctors, would that work?
Proctors, or even better yet, if you could train with orchestrate, especially in your beta phase,
Mm-hmm.
doing the testing, right? You know North Carolina, you know the Texas statutes. If you could coordinate and do it in Raleigh, Charlotte, Greenville, couple locations, people would pay for that.
Excellent. Can I have your information later? I need to talk.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I totally agree with
Yeah.
the compliance testing.
Okay.
Also.
Great.
The tough thing for me is you can't even start with Charlotte. You have to start with Western Union County.
Okay.
Because of the
Okay.
logistics.
Tutor in Concord in the Charlotte area,
Yeah.
looking for Western Union
To match people up hyperlocal.
Sure.
tutors for any things like this.
Mhm.
And that becomes a challenge with building out the tutor daytime activity database. So I think that the shift in the approach has to be your users fill that out and have the ability to rate.
Exactly. So they fill out their own profiles and they'll put in their zip codes, right? And we can get the same sort of area, geographic region. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not even talking about identifying users by geo. I'm talking about the user saying, there's this great daytime karate specifically for homeschoolers. Here's the address. Allow the users to rate them. So you're not out there searching
To rate them. Okay.
Ratings.
Excellent.
That's cool.
I had heard that before as well.
community. Otherwise, it's going to cost us way too much money.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good feedback.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
Okay, good luck.